So once you're done with your zipper, you can make the waistband. How you're going to get your waistband is you have to measure the top part of the skirt, which is your waist. So I'm gonna measure here the top skirt flat, and it's 13 and a half. And so you're gonna double that. So 13 and a half and 13 and a half is 27. So now you know that your waistband has to be 27 inches long. So once you got the measurements for your waist, we're going to make the waistband. I want my waistband to be about 2.5 inches wide. So I'm going to mark up 5 inches. My fabric is folded in half, so I'm going to mark my waistband at 13 and a half. Plus, I'm going to add about 3 more inches for the edges of the waistband that I'm going to show you guys how to finish. So once I marked up the 5 inches and drew it out, and then I also added the extra 3, you can go ahead and cut this strip. This is going to be your waistband. At this time, go ahead and cut your inner facing the same length and iron it onto your waistband. So once you have the whole waistband cut out with your inner facing, we're going to do the next step, which is folding it in half. This is how wide your waistband is going to be on your skirt. So you're gonna fold it in half, iron it all the way across. Once you have ironed it in half, you're gonna open it up and you're going to iron the top part here at 1/2 inch all the way across. Once you got this part at 1/2 inch, you're going to do the same to the other side, but you're gonna go a little bit more than 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch and just a tad bit more. So once you fold this back over, you want one side to be a little bit longer than the other, and this will help you hide the seam of your waistband. So you can go back and press it to make sure that the bottom half is a little bit longer than the top. It will look like this when you're done. Now we can attach the waistband onto the skirt. So once you have the waistband done, we're going to pin it on top of the skirt. So we're gonna put the zipper down, and on the smallest, the 1/2 inch fold that you did, you're gonna pin it here on the outside. You're gonna pin it all around your skirt, but make sure you leave about 1 inch over because we're going to close this part. The back darts here, make sure that they're facing towards the zipper. Once you have it pinned all around your skirt, you're going to sew it on the machine. Now we are ready to sew the waistband onto the skirt. When you put your skirt in your machine, you're going to follow the indent of the iron all the way around. Make sure you're not sewing the teeth of the zipper, so feel with your fingers, go a little bit past it, put your foot down, and Go a little forward and back tack. And follow the seam all the way around the skirt. Make sure you are adjusting your darts. Like I said, the back of the darts have to face the zipper and the front of the darts face the front center seam of your skirt. So once you have your waistband attached to your zipper, we're gonna close off the edges. So here's where we added a little bit more length to do this part. So you're gonna open up your waistband and you're gonna fold it back here. This part is folded up like on the waistband, and this you have to put face down, and you're just gonna sew a line straight across from the top to the bottom, right on the edge. Do not sew on the zipper, it's right outside of the zipper. And back tack, I'm sewing about 1/4 down. Once you've sewn the line, you want to trim it so it's even. Trim any extra fabric out. And you're going to flip it. So now you have a clean corner. If you want to point the edges out. And now you have a clean corner on your skirt. So when you closed off the other side of the skirt, on the opposite side of the skirt, you want to fold the same way that you did on the other side of the skirt, but we want to make a closure for the button. So instead of sewing it close to the zipper seam, we're gonna go off about 1 inch to the side. So you're gonna leave some space and just sew down about 1 inch width away. Back tack, and then sew straight down. Go ahead and trim off all the excess. And flip around. We're going to add a seam on the bottom half to close it off, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So once you have the waistband attached and you sewed up the side corners and made these corners here, the last step is to do a top stitch on top of the skirt to hold everything in place. So you know how we folded in the other side of the waistband? So it has to cover the seams nicely. So once you put the top stitch, it's going to hold everything into place. So let's start here. And you're going to do the top stitch about 1/4 in. Go ahead and back tack. And sew all around the the skirt. Making sure that the bottom half of the skirt is folded over still. So you're going to sew on top of the folded part that is on the other side of the skirt. Once you get to the end of the part that is longer for your button placement, you're going to sew straight across here. Straight across the top. Just go all the way to the end of the waistband. Make sure you back tack. Now we're going to do the bottom hem of the skirt. So at this time, if you have an overlock machine or a serger, you can serge the bottom half of your skirt to help you guide the hem easy. If you do not have one, that's fine. You can still make a hem. So you're going to flip your skirt inside out. And you're going to start on the back part of your skirt where your zipper is. You're going to lay the seam open like so. Cut any extra thread that will be in the way. So now you're gonna fold up 1/4 inch. And then you're going to fold it up again 1/4 inch. So that is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. At this time, if you want to iron it at the ironing board, you can. But for me, I use my hands to guide. So 1/4 and 1/4. Go ahead and place it in your machine. You want the top hem part to be sewn with the needle the closest. So you're about sewing it at 1/8 once it's folded. I will sew a little bit and show you how it will look. Put your needle down, back tack, and then forward. The key of having a straight hem line is finding a line on a guideline on your sewing machine. My guideline is going to be this part of the zipper foot because there is a line here that is straight. So I'm just going to be following this line the whole way around. The whole time you're sewing, you're going to be adjusting a 1/4 inch and then 1/4 inch. Like I said, if you want to pre-iron beforehand, you can do so as well. When you get to a seam, a side seam, you're going to open up your seam and you're going to fold it over like we did towards the back. So 1/4 and 1/4. Make sure that the side seam is open and pressed. I'm opening up the next side seam and I'm folding it the same way. 1/4 and 1/4. When you get to the end, make sure that the needle is going to match up of where you started. Once it's matched up, you're gonna back tack. and you're all done. So this is how this back of the skirt's going to look like when it's done. I decided to add a button closure here. You can add any type of closure you like, snaps, hook and eyes, or buttons. And this is what the front looks like. I wanted to show you guys how the inside of the skirt looked with the top stitch on the front side, what it would look like, nice and clean. This is the front of the skirt completed. This is the back of the skirt completed.